Hi, here I wanted to discuss a recent visit of the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in the White House, which was overshadowed by more escalation in the Ukraine and the feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, with nasty attacks on anti-social media from both camps. Initially, I was hesitant to click on any videos on YouTube or on Telegram, not wanting to waste energy on observing another Trump tantrum in the White House. And seeing Merz always brings my mood down immediately. However, when I did click on a short clip actually on YouTube from Legacy Media, I could see a Donald Trump visually hurt by Elon Musk's exit, and also the good friendly relation between Trump and Merz, talking about regular phone calls and praising Merz and his win and the tight running of the German government. I thought, what is going on here? Then I clicked on another clip on Telegram showing how unimpressively his welcome was at the White House when Merz landed, and how little attention he received at the news conference where reporters more or less ignored him, and the alternative media going crazy about it. Finally Merz getting destroyed, etc. And then I watched the whole thing and I realized it is whatever one wants to believe. It has a bit of everything, and whatever Trump says goes both ways and can be interpreted in multiple ways as he makes these short, ambiguous statements which often contradict themselves. In previous videos I mentioned how some of the videos seem clearly staged or simply made by AI, like the frozen hands of Trump and Putin, and how Elon Musk and everyone else are just characters playing a role. I hope no one thinks that Elon Musk invented electric Teslas or space rockets in his garage. He's just a human, nice, nerdy front figure of massive military-funded projects. Do you really think the guy with the black MAGA hat falls out with the guy with the red MAGA hat? In contrast, this particular video about the news conference looked quite real, and the subtle behaviors are difficult to fake over a long press conference. I'm totally speculating here, but these videos could be augmented or processed by AI, being indistinguishable from real human behavior and very distinguishable from the cheap AI we are supposed to see immediately and which can mislead someone. Now factor in that the big beautiful bill is abbreviated as BBB, which looks like 666, and you might get what's going on here. But let's take a look at the highlights and the admittedly authentic looking body language.
So to let you know, this is the birth certificate of Donald Trump's grandfather, born in 1869, close to Bad Dürkheim, right? Yeah. Let's go.
So here Merz is moving up and down in a rocking movement. So here he is presented as a German accountant type person, pencil pusher. This kind of behavior could be interpreted as pacifiers to dissipate stress.
His Christian name was Friedrich.
That's serious German.
Serious German.
That's serious.
So overall, I can see they are getting very well along, and this is a very personal present, and Donald Trump certainly likes it.
Durkheim is serious German. But I want to thank you very much for, first of all, I want to thank you for that. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Fantastic. We'll put it up in a place of honor. Maybe we can, let's see. We'll put it.
So it's a bit awkward here for Merz because he has his present and he has to deal with it. He doesn't know where to put it and no one takes it from him. So that's, not very statesman-like. So that goes back and forth between being super friendly with Merz and then also ignoring him.
There's someplace. It's an honor to have you. As you know, the Chancellor just won a great election, very, very strong election. Very respected man. I can tell you we've been on the phone many times talking about some of the problems of the world outside of Germany.
So Donald Trump is praising him, which of course for people who like Donald Trump going after the establishment and the left woke agenda. This is very surprising. Why say it if you don't believe it? He also makes his steepling position the Illuminati sign, which technically also Merkel made. So to me, they're all in one big club. It's all a show. But it's harder to see here. And here again, we see Merz adjusting his tie and his jacket and so on. So he seems, the little guy, making him look a bit nervous and submissive.
And it's very sad what's going on.
Big sigh, keeping his head tilted and watching carefully what Trump is doing. Again, looks very submissive and servant-like.
We both feel that way. What's going on with Russia, Ukraine, and other things we talk about, but Russia, Ukraine in particular. I'd like to see it end, and maybe it'll end, but we get some news, there'll be some fighting.
There's no mention anymore of the restriction of freedom of speech in Germany and so on. It's all gone. It's all about the Ukraine again.
Something happened a couple of days ago, and now they do a return, and here it goes. It's not good. He's unhappy about it. I'm unhappy about it. But I think eventually we're going to be successful in stopping the bloodshed. It's pure bloodshed. 5,000-6,000 young soldiers a week are being killed. You know that those numbers
Yeah, we know the numbers.
They're staggering. They're staggering numbers. But Chancellor, I just want to congratulate you, and I want to welcome you to the Oval Office.
Thank you.
It's an Oval Office that's in very good shape. We like fixing things up and having them tippy-top like they have in Germany. They do that in Germany very much.
So he is praising Germany like it is still how it used to be. However, Donald Trump, as he admits later, destroying Nordstream 2 has essentially destroyed the German economy, the cheap energy scum. And of course, Merz is grinning. This is 140 or so US military bases in Germany. I mean, do you really think Germany is in control?
And we do it here. We're having a very good run. I also had a great...
And he gets a bit more confident here, getting praised. He adjusted the seating and looked in the round and had his chin up, presented as proud, reacting very much to what Trump is saying. Again, very submissive.
Election, great win, won everything. Won the popular vote, all 7 swing states, which is a big deal. It's pretty.
And now Trump is going again into a rant about the elections, the usual thing, praising himself and how well he did, and so on. So here I'm jumping forward, so that view is often presented. Of course, there are many different cameras in this room, but this is the one gets to see sometimes. So it looks like Merz plays no particular role here. It's all about Trump. He's in the center of things on his chair under the golden ornaments here in the room, and everyone turning to him. Merz is completely covered up.
I think they're starting to behave, actually, if you want to know the truth.
Okay,
Yeah, please.
On Russia, are you willing to put...
So again, the reporters talk about Russia and about national politics, and here Merz is completely ignored. We can't even see him in the picture. He's a little guy here in the background.
more pressure on Putin to end the war by imposing new sanctions on Russia and also on China?
Well, remember, I'm the one that ended Nordstream 2. Going to a place called...
So here he seems to admit that he ended or destroyed Nord Stream 2. I don't know exactly what it means. It's a typical statement to confuse the audience. It's ingenious in a way. No one knows what it means. No one stops him. No one asks questions about this. This, if he really destroyed Nord Stream 2, said destroyed the German economy, then he is no friend of Germany. So you can interpret the statement multiple ways, either literally or something else, but it's just sitting there as a statement. There's no clarification. It's one of these ambiguous things which doesn't get resolved, and everyone can interpret anything into this, what they want.
Germany, come to think of it. I'm sorry I did that. But I ended Nord Stream 2. Nobody else did. And then when Biden came in, he immediately...
So no protests from little puppet Merz. So that is basically now, it's just staying like that, it's a statement.
Well, first of all, I'm glad to meet because I've been dealing with the Chancellor, and he's a very good man to deal with. He's difficult, I would say. Can I say that? It's a positive.
Go ahead.
So it's a typical Trump statement. He's difficult is in English not something nice to say. This is an insult. This doesn't mean that he's someone tough to negotiate with, having respect for him because he's a tough opponent or something like that. No, not at all. He's just a German puppet allowing 140 military bases in his own country. As no one draws attention to that, no one is basically aware of that. But difficult person is not something flattering. And now he turns it into something slightly flattering. That's one of these ambiguous Trump statements.
You wouldn't want me to say you're easy, right? Yeah, easy.
So he turned it into something more positive?
He's a very great representative of Germany. I think all we want is just going to have a good relationship. The rest will just sort of follow very easily. We'll have a good trade deal. I mean, I guess that will be mostly determined by the European Union, but you're a very big part of that, so you'll be involved. But we'll end up hopefully with a trade deal or we'll do something. We'll do the tariffs. I mean, I'm okay with the tariffs or we make a deal with the trade, and I guess that's what we're discussing now.
Yeah. Is Germany doing enough on defense?
The Chancellor wants to.
Is Germany doing enough?
Chancellor wants to spend 3.5.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't discussed it very much. I know that you're spending more money on defense now, and quite a bit more money. That's a positive thing. I'm not sure that General MacArthur would have said it's positive. He wouldn't like it, but I sort of think it's good. You understand what I mean by that? Right? He made a statement: "Never let Germany rearm." And I said, I always think about that when he says, "Sir, we're spending more money on defense." I say, "Oh, is that a good thing or a bad thing?" I think it's a good thing. But, at least to a certain point. There'll be a point when I'll say, "Please don't arm anymore if you don't mind." We'll be watching him.
So he's kidding, joking, belittling Germany in a way. And there's a lot of war rhetoric here in this video. Reference to World War II in particular, also World War I. A bit of guilt-tripping Germany as well, and Merz of course agreeing and Merz of course not opposing anything. So here you see again the good and the bad. He's praising Germany for the military spending, but then also reminding Germany or Merz of Germany's past. So very ambiguous.
We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric. But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate because that's billions and billions of dollars.
So now we're talking about Elon Musk. We see a bit of more of movement on his forehead, the eyebrows going down. So you could interpret this as anger. So he feels true anger about the situation or Elon Musk.
And it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have we want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, it became a little bit different. And I can understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody. And he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape. He said that
here he even appears a bit deflated. He's leaning forward and he's looking down. So that could be interpreted as a sign of sadness about the situation. So very subtle, not a lot, but it is there. And these things would be hard to fake.
Most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
So he had also the asymmetric shoulder shrug when he talked about Elon going after him or saying something bad about him. It's of course a vague statement and he's not fully sure about it. And here he looks a bit more tired at this moment, so that drained his energy. Yeah?
So President, I just want to clarify, did he raise any of these concerns with you privately before he raised them publicly? And this is the guy you put in charge of cutting spending. Should people not take him seriously about spending now? Are you saying this is all sour grapes?
No, he worked hard and he did a good job. And I'll be honest, I think he misses the place.
So again, we saw Trump looking down. It's a kind of a sadness. And then he raises the eyebrows. It's not surprise. It's just making rapport with the audience, with the person he's talking to. It's basically an emphasis, basically saying, "Look at me. I'm talking to you, and pay attention."
I think he got out there, and all of a sudden he wasn't in this beautiful Oval Office, and he's got nice offices too.
And he's just ranting. It's a typical Trump thing where he goes from one to the next talking about nice offices and how beautiful the place is. It's a typical Trump thing.
But there's something about this one. I was telling the Chancellor, this is where it is. People come in here, even from Germany. They come in.
So even from Germany, it's a bit of a egging on with Merz. Yeah, not clear what that means.
They walk into the Oval Office, and it's just a special place. It's World War I. It started and it ended here, and World War II, and
What? So here again, a very ambiguous statement. It's not clear what this means. Is he just mixing up history, or does it mean something really what he's saying? So I mean, as far as I remember, the US joined World War I very late in the war, 1917 or something like that, and World War II also relatively late, maybe 42. Of course, he could mean that a lot was planned by the US from the start, and there's much more to it. So you can interpret into this whatever you like. Either nothing, he got confused, or he's admitting that all these wars are essentially planned by the US, or at least manipulated in a particular way.
so many other things. Everything big comes right from this beautiful space.
It's also strange to call it beautiful when it's about the war from before. If that really means the US initiated World War I and II, it's not clear why the word beautiful would fit its context. And then he goes on and on talking about Biden again, so he gets distracted again.
Millions of people have died, much more than people thought. And I've been saying that for a long time. The amount of death in that war is far greater than the news has been reporting, or than, frankly, that either.
So when he talks about deaths being underreported, I think they're talking about the Ukraine war. So Merz is reacting and adjusting his glasses. I don't know if he's dissipating stress, if he doesn't want to hear that.
Has been reported. It's a very sad thing. And I can tell you, just speaking for the Chancellor, because we speak about it, he feels the same way. He wants to see it ended. Would you like to say something?
Absolutely. And I'm here, Mr. President, to talk with you later on how we could contribute to that goal. And we all are looking for measures and for instruments to bring this terrible war to an end. And may I remind you that we are having June 6th tomorrow. This is D-Day anniversary.
So funny, Merz, the American puppet, he's bringing up D-Day, again reminding the audience of Germany's major role in World War II and how it ended and so on.
The Americans once ended a war in Europe. And I think this is in your hand in specific, in ours.
That was not a pleasant day for you?
No, that was not a pleasant day.
This was not a great day.
In the long run, Mr. President, this was the liberation of my country from Nazi dictatorship.
That's true.
Yeah, that was one aspect about it, but there would be many other things to talk about. It's a bit guilt-tripping Germany again, and Merz is doing it even to himself. And, there could be a lot said about it in terms of America's role in funding both sides of the war and exploiting Germany after the Second World War in terms of getting the manpower and brain power to the US, to building the economy in the US, leading to a huge economic boom in the US.
That's true.
And we know what we owe you, but this is the reason why I'm saying.
Very submissive again. You don't need the Americans even to tell the Germans do it themselves. It's quite sad. That's all he can say.
They like to say that I'm friends with Russia. I'm not friends with anybody. I'm friends with you. I'm not friends with that. I want the right thing to happen for our country, for everybody, for humanity. But I'm the one that stopped the pipeline. It's called Nordstream 2. Until I came along, nobody ever heard, not one person in this room ever heard of Nordstream 2. You probably did, yes, because it went to Germany. He's the only one that heard.
This was a mistake.
But I stopped him. I stopped it. Yeah.
So here again, Trump is admitting he stopped it. I'm not sure what it means. It's ambiguous again, whether he was involved in destroying it. And just Merz says it was a mistake. Wow, this is what the German economy was based upon. Cheap energy from Russia. That's over now. And Merz, very submissive.
Said that openly. Yeah. It was a mistake because, and I used to go with Angela. I'd say, well, wait a minute. We're spending all this money to defend you against Russia, and then you're giving Russia billions of dollars a month. What kind of a deal is that? You know, but you said it better than anybody else. I appreciate it. But I'm the one that stopped it. And that was the biggest economic development job, if you want to call it that, in the history, think of it, in the history of Russia. That was a massive, it's the biggest pipeline in the world.
Yeah, and now Russia sells it to China and India. And indirectly, it goes back to Germany. Germany's economy is destroyed. A job well done. So Trump is trying to steer, say, questions to Merz, but he doesn't get any.
I think we both agree on this war and how terrible this war is going on, and we are both looking for ways to stop it very soon, which is really terrible. Look at the kids, the kids which were kidnapped from Ukraine to Russia. This is all terrible. And so we are talking about instruments, measures, what we can do, and my personal view is clear on that. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we are trying to get them stronger and stronger just to make Putin stop this war. And this is our approach.
We get satellite pictures of the war field, and you don't even like to look at them, right?
It's terrible.
So,
it's really
bodies, arms, heads, legs, all over the place. You never.
So Merz is leaning back. He doesn't want to hear that, potentially. He's having this arm barrier here. He rather wants to believe that arming Ukraine is ending the war for some reason.
Seen anything like it. It's so ridiculous.
And this is only by Russian weapons against Ukraine.
How is that possible?
This had never happened with Ukraine weapons against Russia. Never. Ukraine is only targeting military targets. Not civilians, not private, not energy infrastructure. So this is the difference, and that's the reason why we are trying to do more.
Merz is telling a big lie, but Trump is also agreeing with that. I don't see Trump now being very critical of Merz and his left-wing government destroying Germany's vitality. Not at all. It's all in the interest of the United States. So I found most remarkable in this interview that it is very ambiguous, especially Trump's statements, and also how he praises Merz, but also belittles him and makes fun of him a tiny bit, in Merz being very submissive and playing along and not objecting in terms of Nordstream 2 or the statements about Germany in the Second World War. It does look very real, but as I said, whatever we see here could potentially be manipulated by AI to make Trump look sad when he talks about Elon Musk and to get all the nuances correct for the public to see. But this is pure speculation. It is really hard to understand what is really going on. Trump is a master of duplicity. The sense I get from this video, it's about the destruction of the status quo. People are supposed to see that the Trump administration is falling apart, and at the height of all the chaos, military conflict might escalate. The USA, busy with its own problems, either might not interfere or do the wrong thing, leading to worldwide chaos, which is the ultimate goal. As usual, this is just massive speculation, and I could be completely wrong here. In any case, I'm very much looking forward to reading your comments, how you view the press conference and current events. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.